All right, guys, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. Have the Saturday small 2-game slate here for you guys, breaking down the top picks in each position, showing you guys my core plays and the line of process for the slate. If you enjoy it, make sure to give a like and subscribe. Starting at the quarterback position, I will say it is kind of difficult in the sense that all four starting quarterbacks are most likely going to throw the ball a decent amount. We'll see. But they're all in great matchups, okay? So obviously starting with Patrick Mahomes, and I might just play Patrick Mahomes just given the fact that he is going to be the safest of the plays. We know what we're getting from him, especially in terms of cash. I do think it's going to make sense, but people might play Trevor Lawrence. They might play Jared Stidham, given the price points and given the matchups and trying to save salary. So that might lead to Mahomes being more under-owned than he should be. He did go off in this matchup the last time they played. The Raiders went for 30 DK points and obviously been extremely consistent this whole season. I mean, he is the NFL MVP. I think pretty much we can lock that in now. It's going to be tough not to play him, obviously. Like, I think he's the correct move. I think he's a safe move, and it's kind of like the sweat-free move. Now, it does also make sense to entertain Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence the last 2 weeks, difficult matchups, okay, did still go for 20 against the Jets, and then Houston, for some reason, teams just are struggling. DFS wise. So really not shocking they struggled in those two games, but can he easily do what he did against the Titans again? Probably not. Okay. Honestly, probably not. That was one of his best games. Okay. And he has been someone that, he just lacks the consistency. Really throw by throw, quarter by quarter, half by half, game by game. So can he string together a couple of touchdowns in this matchup again? Yeah, he can. Okay. I do think stacking Trevor Lawrence with a couple of his pass catchers will make sense, but I don't know if I would want to chase that too much, just given the inconsistency. Like cash wise, I feel like it's a tough play. Okay. I'd rather just play the safety and go with Patrick Mahomes. Now from there, Jared Stidham obviously came out and really dominated DFS wise. Now he did fumble, throw 2 INTs. So it's not to say he dominated, but really impressed. Okay. The reason why I called him a cash play on FanDuel last week was his 7 rushing attempts for 34 yards. Okay. If we can lock in production in the rushing game, at least 3 points, that is a cheap price tag. And he is $700 cheaper than Trevor Lawrence. And obviously just kind of showed the same ceiling. So given the matchup with KC, a matchup that Derek Carr went for 18 DK points against, if we can get, let's say 16 DK points at 5.4, yeah, that's not terrible, with the upside to potentially go for 20 plus, obviously is why we like him. So I am kind of leaning more towards Mahomes, then Stidham, then Lawrence. And then you could even argue Josh Dobbs is an okay play. Now he wasn't good last week, but he gets a much better matchup this week going against the Jaguars. And if we get a quarterback that's going to throw the ball around 40 times, that is pretty intriguing to me. I don't think we are, though. With Derrick Henry back, I think they're going to try to really run the ball a lot. So let's just get into the running backs and talk about that. So yes, the last time that these two teams met, Derrick Henry, 17 rushing attempts, 5 targets, so over 20 opportunities. Really, went for a great stretch there, 22, 29, and 25 DK points. I don't know if we can project that. Obviously, with Josh Dobbs in there, with Ryan Tannehill out, it's tough. But I do think the idea of starting with Mahomes and Henry kind of to get that safety, let's say we're locking in 15 DK points out of Henry, I do like that a lot. He still should be able to go out and have a good game. And honestly, he's the only quote unquote safe play at the running back position this week. We look at someone like Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs didn't practice on Wednesdays. So if he were to sit, that makes the running back situation just really difficult, because looking at the Las Vegas Raiders, you have Amir Abdullah, who kind of had been operating as the backup running back, but we saw last game, it was actually Brandon Bolden that was the backup. So Amir Abdullah is actually just the third down running back, whereas Brandon Bolden came in and played 28% of the snaps, 8 carries, 32 rushing yards, looked good. But the part that makes that difficult is that now Zamir White is going to be back. Okay, just how much is he going to play? He hasn't played at all this season. Their last game of the year. Are they going to try to give him a look? And the question is he talented enough for them to give him a look? Because obviously, guys, this is the NFL. Okay, everyone is playing for a job. Coaches are not going to play a player that they don't think is good enough to play, because at the end of the day, wins and losses do matter for their coaching careers. The running back coach is going to put their best player out there because, they need to succeed. The only person that would maybe want Zamir White out there is the GM. But at the end of the day, the coaches are going to play the best players that they think give them the best chance to win. So the question is, unless you're the Miami Dolphins, am I right? It's a bad joke that's an old joke too, from last year's offseason about them intentionally losing games. But if Jacob sits, we just don't know who it'd be. It'd probably be a mixture of all three of them, where I guess if I had to project it, I would say 40% for Amir Abdullah, 40% for Brandon Bolden, maybe 45, And then what's ever left over is Zamir White. It would just kind of be a stay away. And then looking at Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne has been very strange production-wise, okay? Against the Titans, a tough matchup, struggled, okay? Houston, 9 carries. He was able to go for 26 DK points. Kind of got vultured by 2 touchdowns from both Snoop Conner and JaMychal Hasty, but Hasty continues to be impressive, okay? He is someone that's going to get used in the passing game if they need him to. So, like, I don't mind. I'm not going to play Hasty, but like the fact that Hasty's there and the fact that it is a difficult matchup, I don't know if we can pay up for Travis Etienne. But what does that leave us with? Who does that leave us with targeting? Like no one. You got Jerick McKinnon and Isaiah Pacheco splitting the time, getting about 45% of the carries or snaps. And McKinnon's a tough play. I mean, he has been very beneficial in the touchdown department. Okay. And maybe we just need to accept that. I mean, it is the last week of the season. You had CH really kind of just dominating on a very limited workload. And now Jerick McKinnon's doing that. So maybe we just need to accept that. And maybe we just play Jerick McKinnon. Who cares if he's playing 40% of the snaps? He's still going to get targets. So that's kind of the thought process I've adopted the last few weeks. So I might, and then Isaiah Pacheco, going to get around, let's just say 10 to 15 opportunities. Can he score double digit from there? Sure. So like, I feel like these are the 3 that we're choosing from as it sits right now, and we kind of just have to deal with it. Like it's unfortunate, but that's kind of the slate. Now, receiver wise, it does feel like it's super loaded. You got Devontae Adams going against the Kansas City Chiefs, which is a matchup that he went for over 30 DK points against earlier on this season, and that was on 3 catches. Okay, he did have 7 targets, so obviously the good game with Stidham is very encouraging. It is a lot to pay up for him, but I do think it is going to be the correct approach. At the same time, like Christian Kirk also gets a great matchup going against the Tennessee Titans. And Christian Kirk is someone that, lately has not had that ceiling game. It's been Evan Ingram. It's been Zay Jones. It's been Marvin Jones. And that's kind of what I expected coming into the season. I thought it would be Christian Kirk being like a safe and reliable target, although the last 2 weeks that didn't really happen with Trevor Lawrence struggling. But I would just say, I forget which week it was, if it was last week or the week before that, I said Mike Evans is just due for a big game because one, it's been close. Like he had a bunch of random stuff happen, getting down at the 1, random penalties and whatnot, but like it was just kind of due to happen. That kind of feels the way for Christian Kirk, where it has been Marvin Jones last week, Evan Ingram the previous 2 weeks, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones just randomly. Like it kind of feels like it's going to be the Christian Kirk week. And he is on the field a lot, so he should get targeted heavily. It just wouldn't be shocking to see him have one of those massive games. Maybe he doesn't get 2 touchdowns, but I feel like he's going to go for 100 receiving yards, get a lot of reception. Okay, the matchup's correct. I like it. Now, Juju Smith-Schuster, he kind of took a step back the last 2 weeks, which was a little bit strange. Now he gets a matchup with the Raiders, which should be a better one. If he's going to get 8 targets, who would be a great play? But I think with everyone kind of back for the Chiefs, he's going to be tough to play. I mean, Sky Moore is gone, or not gone, but most likely going to sit. You got Hardman, who's most likely going to be back. And the question is, how many snaps is Hardman going to play? Sky Moore had been playing, about, let's just say, 20 to 40% of the snap. I think Hardman's first game back, that is what we're going to see out of him. Okay, so I don't think we're going to see him on the field a lot. We did see Justin Watson's snaps go down to 38% last week. And who did we see get more snaps? Well, it's really just Tooney didn't get that much more snaps. It was like 30 and 36. But I do think he is someone that we want to be thinking about playing. 4K is a cheap price point. Now, he's not playing a lot of snaps, but they do like him there. Okay, so he is someone that I think we could look at, just give him the talent. Okay, if he does get an increase in snaps, he could potentially, I don't want to say break the slate, but he has the talent. Okay, it doesn't really take much for him as well. I mean, shoot, 4 targets, 4 receptions, 41 yards, 10 DK points last week. Okay, so could be someone you think about playing. MVS is on the field a lot. He just sucks. Okay, it's just weird. And then from there, like Matt Collins, I don't mind the price point. Like you could just be trying to lock in 7 DK points. Not a terrible idea there. You got both of the Tennessee Titans receivers, Treylon Burks. I would prefer him. He'd probably be someone I'm going out of my way to play because I do think the target should be there. He has been impressive, and guys, I think he's going to be a solid sleeper pick for next year. He has been impressive. Woods, if he sits, then Woods is probably going to get targeted a lot. At this price tag, that's a very cheap price tag, so you could easily toss him in there. The thing with it is we have a lot of like just okay receiver plays, like Marvin Jones Jr. This is a very cheap price tag for him. I mean, he is playing a decent amount. This could be a pass heavy game. Okay, like I said, like it was a little bit shocking that Zay Jones was going off as much as he was, and Marvin Jones Jones wasn't, I kind of just expected this offense to spread around the production. So you can give a guy that has really good upside at a very cheap price tag in Marvin Jones, like 3.6. That's a very cheap price tag. You got Hunter Renfrow, who, yes, he's only playing about 50% of the snaps, but you could be locking in around 5 DK points at a very cheap price tag. Okay. That is kind of the weird part about this slate, is that like really all of these receivers down here are all firmly in play. We kind of just need to guess and get lucky. That's the nature of it this week. And that's where I do kind of want to play 3 running backs, because I do feel like there's a little bit of safety in doing that. So now moving down into the tight ends, as always, if you can afford to pay up for Travis Kelce, please do. I've said that every single week, and every single week it's basically worked out. It's probably still too cheap considering his production. Now, a lot of people are going to roll with Evan Ingram, probably because they can't afford to pay up for Travis Kelce. And I'm not saying it's the wrong play. Obviously, just went off against the tight ends. Going to get targeted a decent amount. Like, we could be getting 7 or so targets here. I don't mind him as a play. You could certainly play him. And the issue is that we don't really have a good value tight end play. Like, to me, it is going to be trying to pay up for Evan Ingram. I don't know if I want to play Darren Waller. He has been impressive since coming back from injury. I don't know. I don't really trust it. So I think if I'm playing a tight end, it's going to be Kelce or Ingram. I'm just going to try to find a way to make that work. Defensively, you guys know I don't really care. So this is the issue on the slate. Like, you can't really fit all the studs in there. So naturally, and this is my problem with this slate, is that you go Trevor Lawrence because that's what you can afford to play. And then you just go with whichever defense you can. And that's my biggest issue on this slate, is that sure, we have a lot of great receiver plays, and maybe that's what we do. We try to guess to get lucky running back wise. So in this situation, let's fade Pacheco. Okay, let's go back down to the lowest price defense. And then we have 4.2. Now we can make some educated guesses for the receivers, because like I said, the receiver value is decent. So not a terrible way to go about doing this. But that's all I have for you guys for this video. Hopefully you guys have a good Saturday slate. But I'm pretty excited for the main slate. Already released the core plays video. If you guys haven't, make sure to check that out. Should be a good one. Basically, the final week is always one of my most fun weeks, because typically speaking, we do see a lot of the practice squad, but really the preseason studs come out. News isn't really breaking for that to happen just yet, which I guess worries me a little bit. So we'll see. But that's all I have for you guys. Thanks for watching. And as always, let's keep cashing.